Impressed with this Bluedriver. It's a cheap scan tool. Plug it into your ADLD and it'll report to you. And it just pulled my codes, and cylinder 1's got a Misfire. Code 0301, which means cylinder 1, which at least I know which one to go fix now. I'm not doing all 8, so that's pretty cool. Wonder what else this thing will do. Okay, our scan tool told us that it was cylinder number 1. Is it a Misfire? So we purchased a new spark plug and a new coil pack. So I do recommend that you get Motorcraft parts for your coil pack, and when I went and ordered this at O'Reilly's, it is right at $70. The cheap generic house brand is $30. It is $30 on Rock Auto, but then you pay $10 shipping and handling. But I did get the parts guy to say that their generic ones have a history of going bad after about 6 months. So when you go to this much work, do the job once, not have to do it again. And so you want a Motorcraft. So for this 4.6 or 5.4, you want a Motorcraft DG508 coil pack. And I would also go back with a Motorcraft spark plug. You're not really saving that much. You need an SP479 spark plug. And it is the number 1 bank. And they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And so we need to go get us some tools. We need to go get a 5/8 spark plug socket and a 6-inch extension, and probably a 1 or 3-inch socket, and we need a 7mm socket for the coil, and we need to gap our plug at 54 thousandths. That's 0.054 on our gap. And we need to go get us some silicone grease, because I do like to grease the boot really good with silicone grease. And I also need to get an air compressor, because I want to blow out around this when I pull this out. So we'll be back in a second. We need to undo this, and we're going to pop this out and take this off to get to number 1 cylinder. Okay, with the air cleaner removed, just open this, pull out your air filter, and pull this piece here. Here will be our number 1 injector, right here. So on the back side here, there's a clip that we are going to disconnect, and then we're going to undo this bolt right here. And the reason for this video is I'm going to show you how to get this out without pulling this fuel rail. When I first saw what I was going to have to do, I thought for sure I was going to have to pull all the fuel injectors all the way around this big U-shaped fuel rail right here. Okay, here's your injector right here. This is an injector. So a lot of people like to unclip them all, but I don't want to unclip any more than I have to. So we're just going to take this. Okay, right here's our nut. Right here, 7mm. And we're going to go ahead and unclip it. We're going to pull her out. Okay, unclipping it is really easy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you with the light, but under the bottom right here, you just slide your index finger under, and there's a button right here under my finger, and you just push up on that button and pull back on this casing, and it comes off from the injector there. Okay, just put your 7mm socket right on it, 1/4-inch ratchet. It's not supposed to be very tight. It is, Remember, this is just plastic. There's no reason for it to be that tight. It should have been finger tight. But once you... Oh, come on. Once you break it loose, you should be able to turn it by hand, just like this. I don't lose this nut. I guess it'd be easy to replace, but just a nut. Actually, I'm wrong. It's a bolt. It's not a nut. So it's not that hard to drop. So 7mm, just use a 1/4 inch ratchet. Don't lose it. Now at this point, we're going to pull it out, but we're going to go get an air compressor and we're going to blow it now, and then we're going to blow it after we get the injector out of there. So that anything falls down in there, I want to blow it out before we take the spark plug out, so nothing falls down into the piston. So what I'm hoping to do is, I believe that I can reach down in here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not. I'm going to twist it just a little bit, wiggle it back and forth, trying to get that boot as loose as I can get it. So I don't want it stuck. It feels like it's stuck to the plug, and it is. Darn it. I want it as loose as we can get it. One thing to note is, see the angle to that spark plug? This might be level, but see how it's going at an angle, and that's what allows you to get the spark plug in and out with that fuel rail in the way. So this will be our new one. I am going to put some more dielectric grease. I like to put grease around here, around the boot itself too. My daughter's got a Durango, and water will actually come down the hood, run down here, and it actually goes past this rubber piece right here and gets in there and shorts the spark plug out about every 6 months. Okay, finally got her out. That's why you want to put silicone grease in there. See how dry that is? I'll put silicone grease in there so it comes out nice. And also, see how that's all cracked up there? That should not be cracked. That's what happens if you over torque them. I mean, it's just plastic. Okay, there you have it. I couldn't film this because my arms are down in there and I can't show you guys. But there's the spark plug out. Came out real easy. They're not very tight, actually. Wondering why there's so much oil around the threads. But anyways, now we're going to blow it out really good. And out of curiosity, we are going to see what the gap is on this. And we're going to gap our new one and blow this out good, put our new one in there and tighten it down real good, and put our new coil pack on. But this coil pack, we're going to put silicone grease all the way around it. I did have to loosen this brace right here because I could not get this down here, and I do not have a 1-inch extension. You need a 1-inch extension because that brace is in the way. So I went to a bigger ratchet with the reducer on the end, is how I got it out of there, because 6 inches isn't enough. This one's too long. This one's not long enough. But you have to put you have to build your extensions. You can't just slide this in there. You have to slide it, get it on the spark plug, and put an extension on there to get over the fuel rail, but under this brace here on this one. Hi guys, what I wanted to share with you is when I got this van, it would start and run just fine, but when I would take off in some moderate acceleration, I would hear a ticking noise on the right side of the engine what I thought was a lifter. Sounds just like a lifter, but if you let off on the gas, the noise would go away, but if you accelerate hard, it would get more and more and more pronounced. But once the engine got up to operating temperature, it would no longer make that noise. So for the last couple months, and I use this turkey hunting, I would just start it and let it run till it got up to operating temperature before I would drive off. Well, I was concerned that it was a lifter and it wasn't priming up, and I had that happen on another car, and I went to synthetic oil and the ticking went away. But anyways, I'm changing a spark plug here. We're changing a spark plug here, and I was taking this cowling loose, which is pretty easy. There's a strap on either side and a strap down at the bottom. But anyways, I was looking for where the spark plugs were at before I put a scan tool on to find out which one's bad. I don't think it's a spark plug. I think it's a coil pack. And I discovered that I am missing a bolt right there on the exhaust manifold. So I now believe that that is the source of that ticking noise, that until the engine warms up, I basically have an exhaust leak there, and when you accelerate, the torque causes the engine to rotate, and it separates there a little bit off the exhaust manifold, and once it gets up to operating temperature, then it seals off the leak and you no longer hear it when you're going down the road. So I have a broken bolt right there. And that's going to let it leak exhaust right here until it expands to the point that it seals it back off and you don't hear any noise. So actually that's good news. It's not actually in the engine, but with a broken off stud right there, the only way I'm going to be able to fix that is to pull the head off and drill that out. So that's not good news, but at least it's not internal. It's just an exhaust leak, and I can live with that. Okay guys, somebody asked me how this console comes apart, and I was going to show you. There's 3 little slots here, and they go in these 3 little spots here. In this clip here, what you do is you lift up on it. There's a little notch out there that engages this spot right here. Little notch right there. So all you do is lift this up like this, and the whole thing pops up. So you don't have to take the whole cowling out when somebody spills their Dr. Pepper inside your console. So anyways, the best thing I've ever found to clean boats and vinyl like this is this Spray 9. This stuff is just awesome. You can see where I sprayed it on there directly. See the difference there? And I had a detailer tell me the best thing that he puts on vinyl is their tire shine from the Dollar General store. He says it is better than using Armor All. But anyways, that's what we'll go back on with it to see how clean they got that. Just spraying it on and hosing it off. That Spray 9 is awesome. But you just lift up on this clip and that pops off. It also does help you get it out of the vein. Also, I found it very helpful to remove this hush panel right here. It just snaps on these 4 little pins right here, but it gave me like this much more clearance to pull the console out to change the spark plugs. Okay guys, it's much easier to get the motor shroud or cover back in without this piece on there. And this piece, once you get it in there, you just line it up with 3 little studs that stick out and push it down, and it'll snap right down. And it'll engage this lock right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. And it'll snap into place. And to put this little cover back, it's just got 4 little clips. I don't know what they're called, but there is 2 guides. You got your holes here, and those little plastic guides will guide it in, and you just snap it into place just like that.